my dad heard a ghost in his house. Handsome, come here, I'm scared. Hi my beautiful souls, and welcome back to another of my YouTube videos. Chair is so squeaky. I thought it was gonna be different compared to the one that I was already using. I'm looking at myself. Okay, you guys, if my eyes look very shitty today, it's because I was filming another video and I looked so shitty that I was like, nope, I have to save this when I'm more confident about my makeup looks on YouTube. So sorry. Got y'all next time. Yes, those were my hairy armpits. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Stephanie Lopez. I am 15, turning 16 April 16th. And I upload every Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. If you want to know just a little bit more about me, check out the description box. There's just, you know, basic things about me. Or go ahead and watch my other videos where you find out semi-personal things about my life, if you want to stalk me that much. So in my last video, I actually mentioned that if you wanted to be like, if you wanted to feel special with my little subscriber change, here's your time to shine. Thank you for the 87 subscribers. Like, literally, I called Andres yesterday when he was like across the street from my house at school, and I told him like I have 87. Makes me feel good inside knowing that I'm getting these subscribers from like true entertainment and heart. Hopefully you guys understand what I've gone through or just enjoy my, you know, funny videos. So other than that, just make sure you guys like this video. Make sure you guys comment ways that I can improve for you guys or just things you guys would like to see out of my channel. Of course, most importantly, be subscribed and join my journey on YouTube again. Have your notifications on because it saves you like a lot more time. Like, you guys be searching on my name every single damn video. So just save it and, you know, already have me when I post and when I post. Do yourself that favor. We're going to be finding out a very weird story about a specific household that I lived in for about 3 years. And there was like a lot of creepy shit going on there. It's gonna like, oh, I already have goosebumps. Can you guys see? No, you can't. Yo, and hopefully I don't get scared and see like a ghost in front of me or something. Okay, so some of these stories are actually going to be taking place in like 3 houses, but like they all kind of led up to this. So I'm going to start off by when I lived at my aunt's house. When I was in 6th grade, I lived with my aunt for a good period of time before we went through the drama. If you guys saw my last video, or did I not upload that video? No, how I dealt with derealization. I explained that my aunt and I ended up having like troubles with our relationship. So before that happened, I actually lived with her. Okay, so in this house, it was really creepy, okay? So there's like wood floor everywhere, like even in, no, not in the kitchen, but there was just wood floor everywhere and it was really weird. And I was like 12. Maybe I was just a little paranoid little girl. But it mainly happened, when one of my little cousins was like a lot smaller. He's like 8 now, so he was probably like 4. He would talk in the hallway, like let's pretend he's like right here, staring into the rest of the house, and he would like talk to someone. That was like strike 1 for me. And then another time at this specific house, there was 2 like little experiences in one night. The first one was I was playing Grand Theft Auto, I think 4, on my TV, obviously, and at the time we had those pull-out beds. My mom slept on the top one, and then we pulled out this bed and laid it out this way, so there was like a hole right here. Imagine that, like, you know, like, yeah, right? So I slept on the bottom, and I was playing GTA that night, and my mom was, she was out getting drunk, probably. But I saw a face, like, dead ass for a split second. I saw a face under the bed, and I was so shook that everybody in the house was sleeping. So I called my grandma because she lived next door from my aunt. I called her and she came down, and as I'm waiting, I like roll into a ball and I face the wall because I was so scared, and I feel a hot breath on my neck. But I remember it, like I felt my hairs like just kind of move up as the breath was happening. So when my grandma came, oh, I was so scared, but then I got so annoyed because she knocked down and she started snoring so loud. But you know, I was saved from the devil. She's hella Christian, so. Another thing that happened in this house that still freaks me out, and this isn't like, oh my god, I'm like legit getting chills. Another thing that happened was, there was like 2 or 3 times that this happened. It was, everybody was in the house, well, just me and my grandma at my aunt's house while I was living there. and I heard my grandma call me, and we had the baby obviously, but I heard her call me, so I got up and I went to the kitchen and I was like, "Me llamaste?" And she's like, "No." So my grandma called me, but turns out it was her like freaking devil twin or something, because she didn't call me. So then my uncle hears the same thing, but with my voice, and I hadn't called him at all. Like, I hadn't said his name or anything related to his name. I wasn't even speaking in like the last 2 minutes before he came to my room. And then the last time was with my grandma, who heard my voice call her. So, oh, this chair. It was pretty weird. But the biggest thing that had happened was, I have a window, right? So let's picture that I'm sitting like right here at my aunt's house. And so I'm sitting in front of a window and I'm taking selfies. I was all like, back then. But, so I was sitting in front of a window taking pictures, and it was nighttime, but I had obviously the lights on, so there was a glare of the window glass. And I'm like scrolling through the pictures, like trying to see, cause girl, I used to spam my gallery with little selfies. So let's pretend that my background right now is a window. You like my hairy armpits, by the way? There was like something right here. Well, like it's a window and this is the glare, so it would be in front of me. And it was a man that looked similar, so similar to the face I saw under the bed in like the past stories I told. And he was just standing there. Like, it wasn't a clear like man. It looked like a bald-headed, like Megamind. I don't know if y'all have seen that movie, but I remember seeing it in like the past. Megamind, but obviously he wasn't blue. Put some logic into this. I don't want to explain myself too much. But I saw a man that was kind of just standing there in like the first few pictures. And then on the last picture that I saw, he was, I don't know the painting, but it looked very similar to the guy that was like, you know, like that painting. But in this one, he's holding his face like this, and he's like going like that and then screaming at the same time. It makes me want to cry, because it's like, I caught that in my picture when I was 12. Oh, I was 12. I was so little. That was like one of the weirdest shits ever. We used to hear footsteps at night too. It was, oh honey, it was so weird. So moving on to the next house. After this, I moved back into my apartment. So before I lived at my aunt's house, I actually lived in an apartment, and then I moved out into my aunt's house. Then 6 months later, I moved into the same apartment building, one apartment away from the one that I lived in for 3 years. So in the first apartment, nothing really happened there, but I had this sleepover with a girl named Angie and my 2 cousins. And my cousins, they're like early birds. Like, literally, they sleep early and they wake up at motherfucking 4 in the morning. But we were little back then. But so there was this guy who was said to have, I think, prostate cancer or something, and he passed away in the building in his apartment. And like not a while after, I had that sleepover with the people that I mentioned, and we realized, so we heard like a draft coming in, like we just heard like little thumps. So we look up, and my front door was open, but the locks were still on. Like the top lock, you know, the one that you turn. I'm getting a little scared. Is still like locked, and the bottom was locked, but my door was completely open. Long after we like closed my door again, we saw a man so tall just walking past my window, but he was so black, like shadow wise, not skin wise. And it was just really creepy. Like that time like really freaked me out. But I'm gonna save the best story for last that's in that apartment. So I'm gonna move on to what happened in my other apartment. So once I moved out, I moved back into the same building. I lived in 2 apartments away from the original apartment. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know, it makes sense in my head. I would always hear footsteps, specifically in my living room. This was kind of, okay, so the apartment complex that I lived in were all 1-stories, but the guy that had cancer had the only 2-story apartment. It was like an office for the manager, but turned into an apartment. And so it went from the 2nd floor to the 3rd floor, and I lived on the 3rd floor. So his bedroom would literally be like next to my room, technically, if you're like mapping it out. But maybe his little ghost traveled to my apartment again, but I was just like, oh no, honey, you gotta go. And then there was another time where I thought that pots and pans were being like swished back and forth in my oven. But turns out someone was doing plumbing, but it was such a freaky time because it literally, like, I thought there was like a poltergeist or something in my house, like moving every single fucking thing in my house. It was really weird. So the big main story is, okay, so one day my mom and I came home, obviously from work and school. She picked me up, came home, and it was already like the evening, like it was pretty dark in the house. And we go into my dining room. I don't even know if Andres knows this. Like, I told him last night a little because my mom and I mentioned it. But like, I don't think I went into detail because I was really tired last night. But we came into the dining room and we turned on the light, and legit there was so many flies on the ceiling. And don't think that we had any type of food or nothing. There was no food, no trash out. It really looked like the scene from The Exorcist or like Scary Movie when all those flies are like hitting the window. But they were just everywhere on like the ceiling, and it was weird. It was just really weird. Okay, so my mom is kind of like not religious, but she's just very like into like the spiritual shit or whatever. So she said that it might have been like witchcraft that somebody might have like placed on us or something. So she did burn sage that day, and it was just a really freaky time because there was so many damn flies in my house. Even after, we would find maggots everywhere, and we were so clean that it was just like unexplainable on why those flies were there. But those were like the main three things that happened in those three houses. But just to make this video just a little bit more spicier, so in my dad's house, I used to sleep over. He wouldn't be there, but I used to sleep over with my grandparents and spend time with them a lot over the weekend. There was one specific time where I heard a really big bump on the back door. So my old room was set up as a bedroom, the front bedroom door, and then by my bed there was a door to the backyard. So there was two doors in my bedroom. So I heard a really big thump in the backyard door. So I went to get that my front door was already closed, like I was already ready for bed. So I thought that it was the dogs that like were fighting or something. So I opened the door, and like it took so long for the dogs to come into the like area where I was in, because they were on the side of the house, like they weren't even anywhere near the front. And so I closed the door or whatever, and I like go back to bed, and then my front door was opened. Like, it was just suddenly open, like it was just chilling, like flat open. And I was like, Grandma, did you come in my room on the low or something? Like, were you trying to peek my little butt crack? Well, I didn't actually tell her that, but you know, she didn't come to my room, but I was just thinking maybe it was my grandma. So I got up and I told her, I was like, Grandma, did you go to my room? And she's like, no, mamita, no crees en eso, no es nada. And then I was like, Grandma, like okay. And then she's like, that she needs to see it in order to believe it. I was just like, alright, let me bust out my chills video on you. You won't believe everything. But anyway, then the last story that I'm going to tell you guys real fast before we end this video is in the same house, my dad's house. I get so many damn bad vibes there, but like, whatever. Oh my god, my cousin watches my videos. He's probably gonna get so freaked out. He's such a little scaredy cat. So whenever I would sleep over, I would sleep in the back room. So pretend this is the back room. And my grandma's room was legit like a doorway, like it was just right there. Then my cousin's room was like a little bit in the hallway, but also right there. And his mom's room was in the very front of the house. So they had a dog, and they would like fence up the little area, so if she wanted to pee, she would have to be in the little area or whatever. So my cousin wasn't home this day because he goes out on the weekends. So my aunt had gone out that day, and I think this was around the time that she was like barely like meeting and dating her husband. But so it was just me, my grandparents, and that's it, and the dog. And it's like around 2 in the morning, and I'm still up on my phone. And my grandma and my aunt, they used to wear like pantuflas, like, you know, house slippers. So you would kind of memorize like the noise, like the like, you know, when they have sandals on. And I heard that like suddenly in the living room, and I went to the medicine cabinet, opened the medicine cabinet, and then it went to like towards my aunt's door. Like I can hear it going from this hallway and then creeping up to like the beginning of the hallway where I'm at, and then kind of like going towards her door. And her dog started growling, And I was like, oh hell no. So then I run up, like literally without even looking over there, and I go to my grandma and I jump in her bed and I get between my grandpa and her, and I was like, grandma, I think Tia's here, but I'm not sure because Layla was growling. And like I said in my previous story, my grandma just said, Mamita, don't believe in it, it's not real, you have to see it to believe it, blah 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 blah. So I was just really convinced and spooked that day. So I know I said that was my last story, but you know what, I kind of remember everything that's been happening to my devil child life. So official last story is, my dad heard a ghost in his house. So okay, this is probably the freakiest one. Okay, so in, I believe it was February or January, one of his fiance's dogs passed away, and she's overseas right now. So we had to put her down, and I was so emotional, like so fucking emotional, like, oh, I don't even want to think about it. But it was just really like sad, you know. And for about 2 to 3 weeks after Tipper passed away, the other dog Stella would bark at nothing outside, like just she'd be chilling in the back, and then like suddenly she'll start barking in one specific area every single time we let her out.
How weird is bark? Focus on the dots. I hear her barking. She's weird. Stella, what are you doing?
My dad was just like, oh, maybe she's trying to look for Tipper. Like, you know, he's probably a little scaredy cat. He doesn't want to admit it. Until it came back to bite him in the butt. Literally. No, I'm not kidding. He didn't get no bite in the butt. In this specific story, my dad was, you guys know he's a Marine, and he's actually in Pendleton right now. And obviously we live in Long Beach, so it takes about 2 hours to get over there. So he leaves the house like around like 4 in the morning, depending on what he has to do that day. So he tells me that he wakes up at 4 in the morning like usual, and he's about to get ready. So he goes to the bathroom, and Stella usually sleeps in the room with him. But that he like went to the bathroom and he like did his business and he heard like Stella drinking water, and then he's like peeking through the hallway door, and he's like, Stella, let's go. But that she wouldn't come. But get that he had already heard like the little like little dog paws walking. I don't know why I was trying to do that. But that he had already heard dog paws and then the licking, and which is why he called Stella to come back to the room so they can like stay in the room until he has to leave. And he kept on calling her and calling her. Went out to the living room, turned on all the lights. Stella wasn't there. So then he's like thinking like maybe she beat me to the room. So he goes back to the room, and turns out that the door was closed the entire time. Like completely closed. And Stella was snoring in her bed. To say dogs have spirits, man, because Tipper was chilling. She was like, I'm gonna drink some imaginary water in my ghost world. Like, it was just freaky to me to think that, like, there's already been a night where I sleep over and I hear dog paws from the hallway that I sleep in now. I sleep in my cousin's old room now, but I can hear dog paws from the hallway to the living room, and then at a distance, like in the kitchen. So it's just weird. Like, I better start praying in that house, because Tipper should be chilling. And you know, it's cloudy and I'm home alone, and the background is so dark, so I kind of got freaked out. So why not freak myself out some more? So that was it for today's video. I know that I said I was gonna do like 3 household like small stories or whatever, but like I'm home alone and I decided to scare myself more, so why not say more? If you guys are new to my channel and enjoyed this video, make sure you guys join my journey. And if you are already part of my channel and enjoyed this video, give it a really big thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Hopefully you guys have had a really good week, and if you haven't, then I hope that some point in this video you guys giggled, laughed, or just got scared with me, or laughed at me, whatever. But as I always say, make sure that you guys smile and make the best out of everything. Obviously, you guys know my social medias. Feel free to hit me up for any problems. Just remember, I have a boyfriend and I gotta respect him, you know. So I will see you guys on Thursday for another video that I still have to plan out. So enjoy your week, you guys, and make the best out of everything. I'll see you in 2 days.